Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I've got another December daily process video here for you today. I am working on my days 3 through 6 pages, so that's about what, 4 pages, 4 spreads really, in my book here. So I'm doing a little bit of catching up, and so I sat down and literally just worked on all 3. And so this first one here is a day 3. And what I had on the page before beginning was just a little bit of modeling paste. And so I was working on a Felicity Jane project that should be coming out soon, or at least around the same time as this video is going up. And I was using some modeling paste, and so I had extra left over, and so I decided to take the star stencil, that beautiful star stencil from the Felicity Jane Cocoa kit, and just smear it onto the page. And so that's basically what I did first, and so that was already on the pages before I started working on the pages. And so I am just keeping this really simple. I looked through a bunch of the journaling cards that I had here and just took out one that said December, and it was kind of like a ledger type paper. That is a Felicity Jane card from the Cocoa kit. And then I decided to back that with a bit of that mint green snowflake paper, also from the Felicity Jane Cocoa kit. And so I am using my Cocoa kit in my December daily mixed in with everything else. I just kind of took out the pieces that match the colors of my kit. And so those are where I'm going to do my journaling. And now I'm just picking out a few things, like some of that wood veneer stars and an epoxy heart, and of course my day label there, just to embellish that side. I'm keeping this spread really simple. Basically what I'm documenting on this spread, I believe, is a prompt from one of Seuss's prompt sheets. So on days where I don't have much happening, I don't have anything to journal about, I don't have anything to kind of unload in my book, I just look at that sheet and I pick out a prompt. And so for this one, I picked out, I think it was day 3's prompt, the third prompt that she had on her list, and it was something you did well. And so I've been doing a lot of crafting lately. Me and my friends, we decided to do like a homemade card swap, or not really a homemade card swap, but just a card swap, since we can't really see each other like we normally do for like the holidays really. And so I've been making cards for all of my friends, and so I've already sent them all out, but I made about like 10 cards. And so it's a lot of card making, and I'm not really a card maker, but I had, I did it well. I actually liked how they turned out too. And so that is the first thing that I put on my little list. I recently finished my Felicity Jane project, and I struggled a lot with that particular project, so I'm really proud how that came out. And then the last is I've been doing a lot of creative self-portraits. I purchased a class on creative self-portraits from an Instagram photographer. Well, she does photography, and she shares on Instagram and on YouTube. Her name is Kika, and I will actually leave the link down below if anyone's interested in that. But she does these beautiful kind of whimsical creative self-portraits. So I bought her class, and I've been going through it and taking my own portraits for my A Gentle Unfurling photography project that I'm doing. And so a lot of those photos that you've been seeing are greatly inspired by her work and her class. And so I kind of put that down there too, because those are some 3 things that I have done well recently. And then you saw there that I am under the label prompt, I kind of put something homemade. And even though not everything is homemade here, actually, yeah, I'm creating all the things, and so I guess you can use that term that way. But yeah, so that's day 3. Day 3 came out really simple. And so for day 4, I decided to journal about the self-portrait that I shared that day, which is this lovely one of me standing with a record in front of my face, and then these pink petals kind of swirling, falling about me. I have this pink vinyl, so I didn't have to like change the color or anything. I have it. It doesn't play very well. It's actually a Of Monsters and Men vinyl. It's their first album that I love so much, but the vinyl pressing is just really bad. But it makes a great prop for a photo, and so I've used it. This is just one of the things that Kika does in her photos, and so I kind of took that and did it in my own way. It's one of the assignments in the course. And so yeah, I shared this recently, and I shared about music and how that kind of helped me get through this year. And so I kind of wanted to put that in my journal. I wanted to journal that I shared this photograph and that I've been working on, like, just I'm being inspired by this course, and I've been taking a bunch of these self-portraits and like creating these fun little photographs that tell like different stories. So I wanted to get that in here. And so on day 4, that's what I shared on Instagram. So that's what I'm going to be journal about. And like, so serendipitous was that the pages that were next in my book were these 2 papers. And so the pink paper with the hot pink dots, that's a crepe paper from Snow and Cocoa. And then though I paired it with printable from Seuss Fish, because it had that hot pink in it with like the blues and like the kind of, no, they're blues, yeah, or kind of like a periwinkle, you know, the Seuss blue color. Anyway, the papers match so well with my photograph because my photograph is very bright and has that mint and that pink, and so I thought it just paired really well. And so what I did was I created my cluster, of course, and I just backed my photo with a bit of white tissue paper and some Snow and Cocoa paper, like a piece of paper that I had, and like a half a doily. And then I put this so much fun die cut on top with this ribbon bow that I had in my little kit, and that's basically the photograph. And then on the other side, I knew I wanted to put my day number 4 on the top, but I also wanted some space to journal. I wanted to write out this, like, why I'm including this photograph in day 4's spread. And so what I did was I took some graph paper. I like journaling on graph paper all the time, and so whenever I make my journals, I print out graph paper, but then I have to like cut it down to size to fit the journal. And so I always have these little scraps left over, and I always keep them because they always make great journaling spots in my projects. And so I just kind of put some grid paper down there. And now I'm cutting up one of the prompts from Seuss's prompt list. And this one's actually day 4 prompt, and it says, "What's on your mind?" That's all it says. And so I thought it was fitting. I'm putting it there, and I am journaling just what's on my mind right now, which is this photograph that I shared on my Instagram that day, and just this creative self-portrait journey that I'm going on currently. I do have a couple of photos coming up. Actually, one is scheduled to go up very soon, and I also have a couple that I'm still working on. So yeah, it's been very fun to work on this project, and so that's what I'm basically journaling about here. And so for day 5, I am working with, again, another Seuss fish pattern paper, and on the other side is Snow and Cocoa's Snowflake. I think that Snowflake pattern paper came from the Snowflake collection, and I'm just looking through the journaling cards to see which one I want to use here. And I think this one I also end up using a prompt from Seuss's list here, and the prompt is, I forgot what the prompt was. I know I started with one prompt and decided not to use that particular prompt, and I think it was the 3 things you love right now, but I end up using a completely different prompt for this one. I think that's the one you saw that I clipped out. But right now I am working with the journaling card, and I've decided to use it sort of as the focal point of this spread, and so I am backing it with some of that white tissue paper, and I think I just like make a little cluster like that and just glue that onto that snowflake paper there. And I keep this spread very minimal, and it's very blue and black and white, and so that kind of wintry color. And this card here that says joyful is one of the cards from a cut apart paper from the Paper Person shop, which is Kelly Perky's shop. I don't remember what kit it's from because it is from one of the kits, but I really liked it, and it matched so well. And so, yeah, on the other side, I really wanted to use one of these envelopes. This is an envelope from the Felicity Jane Cocoa kit, and it has Swiss dots on it, and I was just going to write like a little hidden journaling, that was my intention, and like tuck it into the envelope, but I couldn't make it work. The Felicity Jane paper, like the white of it, was kind of like, I don't want to say an off-white, but it was more like a bluish tone off-white, and it didn't really match the Snow and Cocoa kind of off-white paper. And so I decided not to do that, and instead I pulled out one of the adhesive pockets from Felicity Jane. And so these pockets, they have no back to them. The back is actually adhesive on like the side, so that when you stick it down onto your page, it becomes a pocket or like a little tuck spot. And so the one that I had in my little kit here that I put together was this plaid one. And I was trying really hard to make it work. You saw that I looked through all the die cuts. I did want to put a doily on it and like put one of the Kiki K cats on it and like put the number on it too, but it just didn't work because just that red of the cat sweater didn't work. So I decided maybe I can use one of these die cuts from Seuss's, I don't even know if that mug die cut is from her Pink Christmas kit or one of the other ones. But I'm just like, it's blue, it's mint, it like goes together. And I was trying to make like a little cluster either with the not the snowflake, the Snow and Cocoa trees or other pieces from Snow and Cocoa, and it just didn't end up working. And then I pulled out like a really old like cupcake, I think, piece from Seuss to see if it'll work, if that would work. That didn't work either. You see here I pulled out a little banner piece that says warm and cozy, and I was just trying a lot of things and it just didn't work. And so what I ended up doing instead is rummaging through my Felicity Jane Cocoa stuff and finding the pack that this pocket came in, because it came in with other, there were other designs in that kit, and I ended up pulling one out that was white. And it had a little felt star in the center, and I felt the white of it just worked better. And all I did was take my day number and that little warm and cozy piece and just put it in the center there, and I really liked how that looked next to the joyful page. And so I decided to go that route and keep it really, really, really simple. Yeah, so that's what I end up doing on that. And then I go and write out my journaling. And so what I end up using for the journaling, I think I was trying to find cards or different papers and stuff to put into the pocket, and I was trying to line up a lot of the card patterns with the little notch on the pocket and see if that worked. I didn't know if I wanted a little pink to show or like or what, and I go through I think all of the journaling cards just to try to see like what piece would work. I really actually like that spotty one, the black and white spotty one. That was a Felicity Jane card. I liked that little black peeking through since I was using black and white and then like the blue colors. But I end up actually using a piece of blue paper that I recently got as a gift from a friend. It's like a little writing set, and I took out one of those papers because it matched really well and it gave me a lot of space to write. And so you'll see when I take it out that I end up like folding it and like trying to figure out the sizing of what it like of how it needs to be to fit into the pocket, and I spent a lot of time trying to size that paper and like cutting it down and stuff like that. But I think I do that towards the end, so I again jump around a lot, like a lot in this, and so you'll see that I actually do all of my pages and set up all the writing spots, and then at the end go back and do actual journaling. But you see here that I took out this paper. It's literally just like that blue paper, and it had like a little deckled edge that I tried to keep, but I had to like trim it down a lot. And so what I did was I took my ruler, my little metal Muji ruler, and I used it to kind of rip the pages up so that I can have a little bit of that deckled edge. And like this particular paper is very, I don't want to say fibrous, but it feels nice. You can feel kind of the texture of the paper. I don't know if it was like kind of like a handmade paper. It kind of has a little bit of that feel. So when you kind of rip it, it does create that really nice deckled edge texture. And so you'll see that I end up having to rip it a bunch of times along the side and then eventually on the top just to get it to fit well in the pocket. So once I end up getting it to fit in the pocket, that's when I kind of change up the journaling prompt, the Seuss prompt that I end up using. And what I do is I kind of put the journal, the little prompt on the inside of my page. And so for this spread, the prompt that I used was a nice thing that happened. And so I ended up putting that in the middle, or I end up putting that on the top of my page, and then just adding the date using my Felicity Jane date stamp. And then you'll see that I actually go back and journal that at the end, and that one is pretty private journaling, so you probably won't see me actually journaling it, but that's basically day 5. And so the last spread I have here is day 6. And so the pages that I'm working with are this black, white, and it has like a little bit of pink in it, paper with a tree pattern on it. It's from the Paper Person shop. And on the other side is actually some packaging that came in, I think it was from a Pink Fresh Studio, something that I bought from Pink Fresh Studios, but it's definitely packaging. And it's just like a white page with pink diamonds, and some of the diamonds are filled in with a little pink. And so it's really cute, and I just kind of trimmed down that packaging and added throughout this little book. So those are the base pages that I am using for day 6. And for day 6, I actually end up using, I think, day 5's prompt from the list. So I think day 6 prompt I end up using on day 5, and day 5's prompt I end up using on day 6. So I kind of did a switcheroo. And so the prompt was 3 things you love right now. And so since it was that, I kind of wanted to use a journaling card, and so I ended up using this journaling card from Seuss. Oh my god, I want to say that it's from an older collection. I'm using a lot of older collection pieces from Seuss that these kits aren't in her Etsy shop. Maybe Seuss will bring them back. I don't know. I know she watches my videos, so a lot of people are requesting your older kits now that I've been using it in my book, but I believe this one's from an older kit. I don't remember. But it's this beautiful card, and it has these little pom-poms on a, like, tied with a bow, but it had the 1, 2, 3, and since the prompt is 3 things you love right now, I thought it was the perfect card to use. And so what I did was I cut up the little prompt and kind of used it like a little washi tape on the top, and I'm actually just putting that whole thing down on the tree paper because I think the tree paper is a bit bold next to kind of more of the whitish page. And so just having that carved there just by itself in the center I thought would be nice. This page kind of ended up being a mishmash of all kinds of different things. I don't think it flows particularly well. You'll see here that I end up switching up a lot of stuff. I really wanted to use that mug. I really wanted to use it on this page with that little ampersand and those hearts, but I couldn't get it to work well, I guess. And I wanted my like day 6 thing to be up there too. Anyway, I just kind of fuss around with this a lot. What I ended up doing, or like settling on, is just using my little mini-me. And what I mean by my little mini-me, Seuss drew me when she was working on one of her kits, and she sent me the little illustration, and I literally printed out 100 times, and it's in everything. It's in my planner, and now it's in my December daily. So this one, I actually cut off the little flowers that she was holding because I wanted to use it for December daily, and the flowers seemed a little too spring, but I really like how she's in her boots and her little sweater and her little beanie, and so I decided to replace the mug with her instead. And I used that sticker, a black and white sticker from the Snowflake collection, to tuck behind her where the florals were supposed to be, that I kind of cut off. And what I end up doing is kind of tucking my day 6 number like underneath her as well. And I liked using her better because she kind of matches well with the colors in the journaling card that I ended up using. And I still end up using those chipboard pieces, the chipboard hearts, because again, they add that pop of color. And that's basically day 6. And so you'll see here that I am going back and doing all of my journaling. And so for day 6, I start with day 6. And the prompt was, again, 3 things you love right now. And so it took me a bit to think about the 3 things that I'm liking right now. And I end up writing, the first one is late night cup of tea and a snack, because I've been doing that a lot lately. Just staying up late, drinking tea, and either working on something like a video or something like editing, and having like a midnight snack. The second one is thick and cozy knit sweaters. I'm obsessed with these sweaters that I bought myself. They're all thick and cozy and they're all knit and pretty. I love them. And then the third one, I wrote creating fun, creative self-portraits, because I'm really enjoying that right now. And so that's day 6. And then after day 6, I jump to day 4 to write about those creative self-portraits that I've been working on. And so that's a pretty lengthy journaling there. And then since I already did day 3's journaling while I did day 3. After that, I go and work on my journaling for day 5. That one I did mostly off camera because it is just a little bit private, and that's why I kind of wanted to keep it in a little pocket and have it hidden in my book, because it's a little bit personal. But yeah, that is basically my pages for days 3 and 6. To follow, I have the photographs that I've been sharing this week over on my Instagram account. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye!